NSFW, have you recognized some friend or relative in a porn movie? How did you react? I was browsing one night quite a few years ago and found a solo video with a really cute girl sitting on a chair. 2 minutes later the camera settled on her face for a minute and I thought, hey, that really looks like my friend. A little later again. Getting close to the moment of truth. Her face featured again and it was definitely her. I didn't stop. But I didn't tell her about it. A few months later she told me that her asshole ex had cajoled her into making 6 solo videos with him and had tried to blackmail her. Then put some of them online when she initially refused. I didn't feel too good about myself. My friend's brother is engaged to a camgirl. My friend found out she's a camgirl based on her email address, which was the same as her username. My friend was not judgmental at all and kept it to herself. The lady tells the family she does modeling. I saw photos of my girlfriend's best friend nude from her wedding night on Reddit and 4chan. Not exactly a porn movie, but same deal. I masturbated harder. Of course. Saw a coworker in a porn video. It was hot. I had a crush on her already. But I couldn't really make eye contact after that. I think she figured it out but never said anything. My first crush in high school moved away halfway through sophomore year. Years later at a party in college. A mutual friend we both shared invited her and we reconnected. Talking to her. Found out that she was actively doing porn. Learned a lot about what she had been up to. Her whole life read like a cautionary tale my parents had warned me about. A few months later. While I was doing a bar crawl with some friends of mine. We walked by a sex shop and drunkenly decided to go in to see what they had. In the porn section. The very first thing I saw was a DVD with her right on the cover of it. Very surreal experience. I didn't buy the DVD. But my friends did. Apparently during one of the scenes where she's being interviewed. She directly mentioned the party at my college she went to. My dad's business partner, Tom, had a secretary we will call Candy. He found out she was on a porn site and had many videos. Tom thinks this means she is easy and that he can get some office nookie. So Tom goes out of his way to be overly flirtatious and make double entendres and just generally be a slime ball. Candy records him doing this. Send the vids to Tom's wife. Sues the crap out of him. And ends up as my dad's new business partner. Because she is smart. Works hard. And focuses on business while at work. I was dating a woman years ago who told me stories about how her ex-BF used to get her to strip for him on cam and masturbate with various household objects. I asked her why the hell she would ever do that. She said, well, it was a long distance thing. We had no other way to have sex together. I said, so you never even met him? That's even worse. About a year later. I'm browsing porn and I see some hot amateur ducks herself with cucumber video. I'm looking at the thumbnail going, geez, she looks awfully familiar. So I click on it. Sure enough, it's her. Dude was apparently recording all their sessions and uploading them to some we will pay you for your amateur vid site. I didn't have the heart to tell her. I beat my big dick twice as hard and came twice as much. My cousin. Wasn't proper porn, just naked pictures on a Twitter photo page. I wanted to tell her mother but wasn't sure if I'd semen bred for seeing it, so I told my mother some girl I knew was doing it and asked what I should do. She said, well, she's an adult, it's her own choice, so I left my cousin to it. Same logic applies. There's a girl that works at a supermarket down the block from me. Very shy and unassuming. Came across her FetLife profile one day and found a link to her Pornhub page. Turns out she's been doing her own porn for a couple years now. Pretty hot and a total surprise. She's the last person you'd expect to be doing anything like that. One of the most famous MILF picture sets is my best friend from high school's wife. He posts a lot of pictures online, but in addition he likes to post on forums about his wife sleeping with other people and how they love to leave a computer running in the guest room when friends stayed at his house with her nude pictures in a file. He kept asking in the forums if anyone knew her and if they had sex with her, so I responded one day and let him know I knew him. His wife gave him his house address and told him a little about his life. Guy completely panicked and asked me who I was and I wouldn't diverge. We see him and his wife every couple of weeks and didn't want it to be odd. It's very crazy seeing them because I know she has been with a lot of guys and has done some seriously kinky stuff. She is an uncomfortably close hugger and likes to kiss on the cheek. I know where that mouth has been, so it's extremely awkward for me. I found my childhood crush best friend. Watched it. Showed my parents. It did my grandma's funeral a little awkward though, because as soon as I saw them it was all I could think about. Found out my cousin was a porn actress at her birthday party. It turned into a weird viewing event. One of my first friends in college was a cam girl. She's Asian and was ostracized from the conservative Asian community on campus and I didn't know why. So one day a mutual tells me that my friend does cam work and says he has one of the videos. He showed me the video and all I can say is girl knows her angles. She was already extremely photogenic, but all I could think was 1. How did she fit all that in there, and 2. How did she know all her angles even when not facing the camera? I never told her I saw the videos and continued to be her friend. She always had wild stories to tell me at lunch, from sleeping with entire teams to sleeping with professors, and she knew I wouldn't down her for her choices. I told my BF at the time the stories cause I knew he would keep it to himself. He was a Korean international student and more on the conservative side. He was disgusted and would badmouth her and I would scold him for judging her habits. Fast forward to sophomore year. I come back from winter vacation and he breaks up with me. He eventually tells me that he's been sleeping with my cam girlfriend, cheating, and was in love with her and leaving me to take a chance with her. She didn't want a relationship with him and left him high and dry immediately. He was upset and would ask me for advice before moving on to be with the girl he was always ditching me for when we were dating. I forgave my friend because I considered her a free spirit nympho. But she ended up dropping out of school and got engaged to a fan from her cam show. I haven't seen her since. I don't know why I keep browsing these kinds of posts. There's never any source. Not sure this counts because I used to watch my uncle and aunt's homemade 6 tapes every time my house sat at their place. Came across a VHS tape in a professional box. It was called Homegrown Videos. Fast forwarded through it until I saw my aunt. She was having sex with a kid with a huge big dick while my uncle must have been filming. It was interesting to see her on a commercial porn. But I had already watched her ducking my uncle and his friends so many times that it wasn't anything special to see. A friend of mine started doing porn not long after she turned 18. It was kinda shocking at first. But she always kind of had that vibe about her. I've got 2 for this. One of my best friends and the AF's wife is Sweet Victoria. Google Sweet Victoria cam girl. She's a short brunette with huge bobs. I used to do some of the website work and was there for pictorials. He used to like having sex with her when me and my girlfriend were in the room. One time he stuck a piece of chocolate in her pussy and threw it at me. So I ate it. It was a pretty crazy time. Edit. I just found she has a Pornhub channel under the name Victoria A. The second one is I found a picture of my ex-wife's older Bible thumping sister sitting on a reclining chair completely naked. I know it was her because I recognized the furniture in the apartment. For a while I was getting GGW DVDs in the mail. Past the first set I began to think one of my friends was pranking me. I just wasn't understanding the prank. So I decided to screen one during a party. Well, no one was pranking me, or at least no one admitted to it. But the event was so random it just became the thing when I was having a party to have it playing in the background. It's another party I've got the latest playing. It's one of the college vids where it starts with the flashing but ends with a girl or multiple girls in the RV. So we think one of the girls flashing is a friend of ours, but you really don't get a good look at her face. Later she ends up in the RV with another girl. And it was 100% our friend. And she was 100% aggressively ducking that other girl. I cut the vid. She shows up later. Someone let her know shortly after she came in and she left before I could talk to her. Didn't see her for a few weeks. When she finally showed up again, it was one of those things she did while drunk and never thought people would see it. Even though she'd been there while I was showing GGW, she figured since it was a few years ago it wouldn't end up coming up. Also ended the GGW screening at parties. About 10 years ago I used to be on Model Mayhem as a photographer. I was messaged by a girl who wanted to shoot with me and we arranged an outdoor shoot at a park. She had literally just turned 18 a week before. We hit it off and within 48 hours she asked me to photograph her nude and we had sex. I was officially her first shoot on the website and remember thinking to myself, this girl is going to get herself in trouble. A couple of months later, after attempting to get her a DVD of pictures and not hearing back from her for a few weeks, I'm randomly checking out some internet porn when I suddenly see her face dressed in a schoolgirl uniform getting ducked in her debut scene. She went on to shoot for about a year from what I could tell and then disappeared. I never heard back from her and I still have her DVD of photos.